Hey everybody, everything new under the sun here. I've got an article about job losses. This is out of China, and it's just a further confirmation that China's having a lot of trouble. This is from Zero Hedge. China warns social stability threatened as 400,000 steelworkers are about to lose their jobs. This is where we talk about the Mad Max scenario, where you start having social instability and you start talking about martial law and law enforcement coming out and threatening the lives of anybody, and gangs going around and smashing windows and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty much what we're speaking of here, and it's because China's economy is going downhill real fast, and companies are just cutting large numbers of employees because they've just got no work for them. They're not making any money. In late September, he says, we were stunned to read that in the first mega layoff in recent Chinese history, the Harbin-based Heilongjiang Longmei Mining Holding Group, or Longmei Group for short, the biggest met coal miner in the northeast China, has taken a page straight out of the Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg's playbook and fired 100,000 workers overnight, 40% of its entire 240,000 workforce. So 40% of the workforce was 100,000 people. You've now got likely 100,000 men who were probably bringing home an income to feed their family, and so you could probably increase that number, by 2 times, 4 times. It's hard to say depending on how many people they have in their family. Just a conservative estimate, maybe you could say 200,000 people in total are affected, and probably way more than that because of their extended family and stuff. And these are people who are going to be out of work. Now, jobs. Now there's going to be 100,000 people looking for some other job, and the wages are going to decrease simply because supply and demand. For us, this was a sign of China's long-awaited hard landing had finally arrived because China's paper of record. China Daily added, now many migrant workers struggle to find their footing in the downshifting economy as factories run out of money and construction projects turn idle across China. You're going to have large numbers of people not paying taxes, large numbers of people starving, and that adds up to large numbers of people creating social unrest and civil war potentially in China. And of all the countries that you would not want to get into civil war, that would probably be China, because they have so many men, women, and children. What do they have? 1 billion people in China, and so if you have a billion people starting to lose money and not being able to feed themselves, you're going to have massive trouble. Look at the number of strikes in China. In 2011, it was 185, and then you go right up to 2015, 2,703. Lee confirmed this was a very disturbing trend. Large-scale redundancies in the steel sector could threaten social stability, he said. A large number of coal workers are expected to be affected by future capacity cut, although the State Council did not specify the scale. To deal with the looming redundancies, an industrial restructuring fund was initiated January 1st, pooling money from factories across the nation based on their power consumption. As far as I'm concerned, the bulk of the fund will be allocated to redundant workers. So again, there's going to be massive unemployment. You can see photos of the strikes and people going against the police. Large numbers of people without work, obviously. This is going to come to North America, and it's coming to countries around the world as the economy does worse and worse. And then this is a spiraling effect. As you get more workers out of work, you got less people spending, and the economy goes down even further and faster. So just lots of photos here of them fighting the police. It's amazing China hasn't actually come and run them over with tanks or something. That has just about, if you think of Tiananmen Square is what I'm thinking of, where that just about happened, and not to mention all the unjustified jailing, incarceration of people who disagree with the Chinese government. And so they have a large fire to put out now, a lot of trouble, and they need to figure out what they're going to do about it. and their economy is going downwards. There's not a lot they can do about it except for bring down a heavy hand, bring the army. And I can see the Bible speaks of a 200 million man standing army, and that could be produced by China. And if China is in a state like this, they could go to war tactics where they just start drafting people for the army. At least that's a job, and then all the men would be happy to get any kind of a job. And so why not join the army and become one of 200 million men in the standing army? And the Bible speaks of that. Now, the Bible may not be speaking of China specifically related to the 200 million men, but China, for the first time in history, is the only single country that could actually produce 200 million men standing army. And so it does speak of that. The problem, of course, is just like every other economic indicator in China, this one too is utterly wrong and dramatically inaccurate, and simply meant to goal seek what a few politicians demand be shown, so they get a few approving nods from the Politburo. I'm not even sure what that means. Alright, I'm going to use a special Mac tactic. Find out what this word means here. Politburo. Here's learn something new every day. Here you go. The principal policy-making committee of a communist party. There you go. Politburo, the provincial policy-making committee in the former Soviet Union, founded in 1917. Interesting. Just how disconnected from reality China's official unemployment rate is, both now and a year from today, will ultimately determine how violent the social upheaval will be when, as part of its hard landing, China proceeds to lay off tens of millions of low-skilled workers, leading to an inevitable violent response. So you can see how people in the world being laid off only exacerbates the economic trouble, and you just descend into chaos effectively until one world leader steps up and says, hey, I can fix all this, and I can feed your family, I can provide jobs for you, and that's going to be the solution. That's the prophetic solution. That's what we're looking forward to. That's what we're looking ahead to. I don't know if we're looking forward to it, but this is a big problem, and China is obviously in real trouble, and they're certainly going to pull the rest of us down with them if we aren't, going to lead them into an absolute depression and crash. So there you go, a little bit of news on China for you. And a follow-up, I looked at, apparently, we'll go to CNBC here. This will have a load. And I did a bit of a prediction this morning, or yesterday as of the time you're watching this actually, and the market's actually ended down. So I'll do another follow-up tomorrow morning, which will be this morning, but just I'll look at it where the stocks ended on Monday. Gold was up a little bit, but the Dow and the S&P I want to look at. So the Dow is down 200 points. So it's continuing its downward trend, and oil was below 30 again. So it just popped up to 31 just for, over the weekend or whatever, and because of the snowstorm apparently, and it's back down to 29. A lot of people are saying it's going to go to $10 or $15. So that's it for today, and well, that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.